Thank you. I would like to welcome everyone to the Old Colony Planning Council Route 28 corridor study in Avon. My name is Raymond Garino. I am a principal transportation planner with the Old Colony Planning Council. And I'm here with my colleagues from Old Colony Planning Council, Bo Jung, Sean Bailey, and our executive director, Mary Waldron, has just joined us. Would you like to say something? Would you like to say a few words, Mary?
Just very briefly, I just want to thank the OCPC staff and the town of Avon. I've seen behind the scenes all the work that you guys have been doing and really look forward to the presentation tonight. So thank you.
Okay, I would also like to recognize John Beater, the town administrator from Avon, and Richard Jordan, town planner, Brian Martin, DPW director. And we also have John Costa, who's an alternative alternative delegate to the Old Colony Planning Council. And Sharon, and I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name.
That's right, Julie. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, from Mass DOT. Did I miss anyone on the panel? I don't think I did. Okay. All right. So we're going to have a brief PowerPoint, and I'm going to give an overview of the study, the background, our public outreach survey, talk about projects, and then we'll have a question and answer period after that. Next, please. So the Old Colony Planning Council is, we have 17 communities. Avon is a member of the Old Colony Planning Council. And we also serve as the MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization. And we have a subcommittee, the Joint Transportation Committee. So we're focusing, the MPO focuses and the JTC focus on prioritizing transportation initiatives. And we have also we contribute to the Transportation Improvement Plan for the region and for the state. So this study was funded through the Unified Planning Work Program, planning dollars from the FHWA through a contract with Massachusetts Department of Transportation. We had we had some studies about prioritizing corridors in our region, and Route 28 kind of rose to the top in a study that we did, prioritizing our needs, and so that's how it got on our UPWP. Next, please. So our study area is Route 28 in Avon, approximately 1.7 miles. The jurisdiction is under the Mass Department of Transportation. We looked at 7 key intersections. 4 of those intersections have traffic signals. It's classified as a urban minor arterial, is eligible for federal funds. There is a speed limit special regulation with Mass DOT. So through the Avon Center, it's 30 miles per hour, but the rest of the corridor is 40 miles per hour, north and south of Avon Center in Avon. Next, please. As I said, we looked at 7 key intersections, and we did turning movement counts and looked at the congestion or the level of service using synchro traffic modeling. And the level of service is like a grade from A to F. And the first 2 intersections are in Avon downtown, although it has level of service C during the morning and afternoon peak hours. Our first intersection, Main Street at East High Street and West High Street. It does have a high crash rate. There were a lot of crashes there. We did a 3-year look back of crashes, 2024, 2023, and 2022. We didn't do 2025, but we had 3 years, And we had 24 crashes. And if we actually go back a little further, there were even more crashes. The crashes actually came down a little bit, but it does have a high crash rate there. Between the two intersections, East Main Street and East Main Street at Route 28 and the East-West High Street intersection, there's a lot of there's a lot of queues that go back during the peak hour, and people are weaving in and out of traffic to try to take a left turn on East High Street. So there's a lot of side swipe crashes, a lot of rear end crashes going on there. And although the level of service, as I said, is C, which is acceptable, there are heavy queues, a lot of cars that back up during the morning. They back up from East High Street to West Main Street. That's observational. Sometimes the model doesn't give you a complete picture, but that's what's going on there. East Main Street, Route 28 at East Spring Street and West Spring Street was the worst intersection, level of service F, under existing conditions and extremely high crash rate. It was on the top 200 list in the state for crashes. And it's stop signed right now, and it's at a crest of a hill too, which limits the visibility. But that level of service F is because vehicles just can't get in and out of the side street because there's so much traffic on the corridor. There's not sufficient gaps for vehicles to get in and out. Harrison Boulevard, again, level of service C, which doesn't look too bad, but there are heavy queues on the northbound going left to try to get to Harrison Boulevard to Route 24 from Route 28. And it backs up into Route 28 into the travel lanes. And in the other direction, coming from Harrison Boulevard, again, a lot of people taking left turns to go that kind of western corridor from Harrison Boulevard, just to that short piece on Route 28 to get onto East Spring Street to Holbrook. Memorial Drive at Route 28 at East Main Street is a unsignalized intersection, level service D. Not a lot of cars coming out of East Main Street, but it's level service D because again, there's not a lot of sufficient gaps in the Route 28 flow during the peak hour. Walmart intersection has level service A. It functions really well. And the unsignalized intersections level of service D is right turns only from there, but there's a lot of vehicles that do turn left. We counted the vehicles coming in and out of that intersection. People like to take a left turn out of there and they're not supposed to. Again, the high crash rates were at Harrison Boulevard and East-West Spring Street, and at the East High Street, West High Street. Those were the intersections that had the that exceeded the Massachusetts average crash rates for signalized and unsignalized intersections. Next, please. These two maps show the, yes.
Just, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just don't know. I haven't seen your whole presentation. Just a comment for everybody on. If you could go back to the previous slide real quick. Again, this is the corridor study, but we already have a project program with DOT and you guys, which will address intersections 3 and 4. So East Spring and West Spring and 28 at Harrison are going to get upgraded in about 2 years.
Thank you. Yep.
I don't know if we could kind of pull those out or just kind of flag those just for future reference.
Sure. Sure.
Be helpful. Thank you very much.
Yep. Next, please. These two maps show the land use in the corridor. It's a mix of residential and commercial uses. And the zoning shows that there's a lot of commercially zoned areas along the corridor. But I kind of broke it up into 3 different sectors. The first one in the north is the town center, which has different characteristics than the because it's a town center and there's businesses there and people park there, and it's a destination. And then if you go further south to the East Spring Street, West Spring Street, and Harrison Boulevard intersections, that junction right there, it's mostly, it's vehicle oriented, and it's a heavily traveled as people go from Harrison Boulevard. They take a quick left turn, they go into East Spring Street into Holbrook. So it's kind of a east-west corridor through the middle, as well as Route 28 itself being a busy northwest corridor there. And then as you go further down, it's a 4-lane cross section. And again, it's auto-oriented. The focus is on Walmart, the commercial area there. It's heavily traveled. People like to go to the Walmart. Also, there's a bus route, that bus route that goes to Walmart, and it's heavily traveled. There's over 100 people per day on the bus going to and from Walmart on average. We got some numbers from Brockton Area Transit. Next, please. So the next couple of slides, I'm just going to give you kind of an idea of the character of the corridor. So the first section, again, this is the downtown area. It's called North Main Street, Route 28. And you can see it's a 2-lane. It's got wide shoulders and nice sidewalks. It's actually part of the Claire Saltonstall Bikeway. So there's enough room for a bicycle here, although the speeds can be high. As I said, it's 40 miles per hour, and people usually travel a little bit faster than that. But for novice bicyclists, it's probably not the greatest. There's high volumes and high speeds, but for other bicyclists that are more advanced, it's pretty good. It's not bad. The Saltonstall Bikeway comes down from Randolph and it goes east. It goes east along East High Street, so it doesn't continue down Route 28. Second picture shows the Avon Town Center. At looking northbound at the East High Street, West High Street intersection. Although there's not filled with cars now, but during the peak hour, it does get filled with cars going northbound, and it'll queue back right into the other intersection, the West Main Street intersection. And vehicles will be weaving back and forth to try to get into the lane at the East High Street intersection. Next, please. And this is the area at between East-West Spring Street and the downtown. Again, it's a 2-lane cross section. It's got 5-foot shoulders, but the sidewalks we've just by observation were not in very good condition. There's a lot of although this shows some driveway access there, but there's a lot of utility poles in the way on the sidewalks. And at the intersection, I'm actually at the intersection of Harrison Boulevard, looking, the second picture is looking north to east-west Spring Street. And you can see that it's actually at the crest of it's a gradual grade up, looking up that way, and that hinders the sight lines and the sidewalks. Again, not very wide. As John Dieter said, there's a tip project that, and then over the next 2 years, it's going to fix some of these problems, which is the good news. Next, please. And the last section, which is south of Harrison Boulevard. It's a 4-lane cross section, and I'm looking. The top picture is actually looking towards Harrison Boulevard from the East Main Street intersection, and you'd hardly know there's a intersection there, but you really, as you drive by, you don't realize there's East Main Street, which is pretty well traveled, especially by locals. There's not a lot of visibility for the intersection, and there's some wide driveways. Also, there's not a lot of access management going on there. And the second photo shows where the Walmart is people walk to the Walmart, and the sidewalks are not very good, or they're not existing. They don't exist at all. And the third one is down right at the Walmart, or just south of the Walmart signalized intersection. Again, poor sidewalks, long curb cuts, and no shoulder at all, with full lane cross section. Next, please. So we did a public survey. We got 90 responses, and I think that a survey told us a pretty good story. The primary mode of travel is passenger car, 100%. Other modes that people use besides the car were walking, 66%, which was pretty high. People like to bicycle and walk in the corridor, and motorcycles, and also mass transit. As I said, the Walmart bus is pretty popular. The destination, 33% had a destination on Route 28, and 12% people were passing through. 55% do both, so they commute and they also use Route 28 for shopping or other trip purposes. And below that, we have the primary trip purpose, which is commuting, 32%, and 31% shopping, although that should have had shopping first. So 32%, the primary trip purpose is 32%. This is a little confusing the way I wrote it here. I should have changed it. But 31% of the primary trip purpose is for shopping, and the remainder is for recreation, social visits, medical, etc. And we asked people about the most congested time of the day. Afternoon peak hour was the first, mornings was the second, and Saturday was the third. Again, because people like to also, Route 28 is a destination for shopping, as well as an arterial used to go for regional use for people for regional travel. Next, please.
Ray, just as a check, how many people are on the public meeting now?
Let's see.
16 people.
Well, yep. Okay, thank you. So we asked about what locations people thought were the most congested: East-West Spring Street, Harrison Boulevard, that junction right there, which everybody knows about. East-West High Street, the second was in the downtown, East-West High Street, and people said Walmart was also congested, and East Main Street at West Main Street, which is in the downtown. And the last one was Memorial Drive, Route 28 at East Main Street, which is at unsignalized intersection. Locations that need most improvements, again, East-West Spring Street intersection and Harrison Boulevard. And then after that, people thought the downtown needed improvements, then Walmart and East Main Street at North Main Street, which is in the downtown, and then Memorial Drive at East Main Street. Next, please. What improvements would you like to see? People thought that the traffic calming or people traveling at slower speeds. People would like to see people traveling at slower speeds. More sidewalks, which I think is an important understanding of what people or how people want to use the corridor. People also they wanted to see roundabouts, less travel delay, and some people put that they want mixed use development or higher density of commercial development in the corridor. Next, please. So this next section is about the existing projects. So this is the TIP project that John had mentioned earlier. It's at 25% design construction. This is the intersection of Route 28 at Harrison Boulevard and also the intersection of Route 28 at East and West Spring Street. There's improvement at both intersections. But there's also another TIP project, which is has been approved by the Project Review Committee, but Mass DOT is not actively moving ahead. And that is Avon corridor improvements on Route 28 north of the East-West Spring Street all the way through the downtown. And it actually ends, so it's the project limits are from East-West Spring Street north to the Avon Randolph Town line, but that is not being actively moved ahead by the Project Review Committee. Corridor-wide recommendations that OCPC are including in the study are to improve the sidewalk surface conditions and connections, and also bike lanes, improved bike lanes, possibly separated bike lanes, and pedestrian crossings also, because there's a lot of places where people want to cross Route 28 and consider rectangular rapid flashing beacons. And it's a very dangerous road to cross. So that I think is important. People will still cross even though it's dangerous. Access management. There is a need for optimizing the driveway spacing, restricting left turns, and maybe some get a handle on these very wide access points on the side of the road for access to land uses. Lane and turning capacity enhancements, and traffic calming. Next, please. So again, Avon Center, the existing condition, there is actually at the intersection going back to the downtown Main Street at East High Street and West High Street. The intersection is actually not completely aligned 90 degrees. It's not directly opposite of East High Street. It's at a skewed angle. And the yellow and red clearance during the signal phase is not adequate for vehicles to clear the intersection. Vehicles turning left get hung up in the intersection. Again, emergency preemption is at the fire station. It's not mounted on the signal equipment. And again, there are long queues between Route 28 West Main Street and Route 28 East High Street, West High Street. Vehicles weave from lane to lane. And the potential improvements are to reassess the signal timing and phasing and lane assignment. Consider protected left turn phases on the northbound and westbound approaches. Coordinate the timing and phasing between the two signalized intersections in the downtown. Sidewalk widening and improvements to the pedestrian and bicycle accommodations. And long-term, not necessarily short-term, but in the future, this could be a consideration for realigning the intersection. The other intersection in the downtown, East Main Street, Route 28 at West Main Street, motorists that go southbound through the downtown, they generally take that right turn at high speeds, and they're very close to parked cars. And there's I will show it in a map in another slide, the next slide. But people trying to cross the street, they're trying to get to the island. They're at risk, pedestrians, because vehicles take that right turn at very high speeds. Again, the emergency preemption is at the fire station. And the improvements recommended were to, again, reassess the alignment to make it a 90-degree approach so that the right turns are slower, and coordinate the signal timing and phasing, and sidewalk widening to help with pedestrian accommodation. Next, please. The downtown redesign objectives. The town had a consultant create a preliminary a preliminary design for the downtown, and they wanted to reduce congestion. Their bicycle and pedestrian safety was important, intersection safety, and they wanted amenities for parking. They wanted to keep the parking and foster the downtown as a commercial development, and make it safer for pedestrians and keep the commercial viability. Next, please. This is the consultant concept that was done for the town from the consultant. And you can see that north is to the right, and the intersection of East-West High Street is to the right, and there are bump outs there for pedestrians, better protection. They keep their sidewalks and their parking on the west side of Route 28. And they widen the sidewalks, and they take that island and they make it part of the sidewalk system, so people aren't crossing there as vehicles take that right turn. Vehicles taking a right turn down West Main have to do it at a 90-degree turn. They take it much slower, and it's safer for pedestrians. And the West Main Street intersection also has bump outs and shorter distances for pedestrians to cross the street. This is just a preliminary design. Next, please. As we further move down the corridor, the other two intersections that are part of the TIP project are the East Spring Street, West Spring Street intersection, and in the Harrison Boulevard intersection. East Spring Street and West Spring Street, as I said, was part of the top 200 crash locations. This poor sight distance, lane usage was, there was a lot of weaving going on. It was unclear on the lane usage, and limited pedestrian accessibility, worn pavement markings and signage, and a lot of peak hour congestion. So as I said, 25% design plans have been submitted. The intersection is going to be reconstructed with the sidewalks, the turning radius and the curving. And the northbound approach will have a shared through left and an exclusive right turn lane for people that make that heavy movement from Harrison Boulevard, taking a left, and then that right turn onto East Spring Street. And the Harrison Boulevard intersection, to eradicate the long queues on the northbound left turn approach, there's going to be a double left turn lane, and also on Harrison Boulevard on the eastbound approach, they're going to add another left turn lane. Next, please. And this map, this design rather, shows those two left turn lanes at Harrison Boulevard as you go eastbound. Northbound is to the left, and eastbound is going up. At Harrison Boulevard, there's an extra left turn lane there for storage. And as you go north on Route 28, again, you can see the two left turn lanes there at the Harrison Boulevard intersection. And then if you go to the East Spring Street intersection, to the left, you see that exclusive right turn lane on the northbound approach. Try to eliminate some of that weaving that was going on there. And there would be a traffic signal there, and the signals would be coordinated. The sidewalks would be, actually, they're going to create a buffered bike lanes, multimodal path along the side of the road for bicycles and pedestrians. Next, please. As we go, let's see, Memorial Drive at East Main Street. Oh yeah, that's the unsignalized intersection. Again, the intersection is poorly aligned. We're going further south at the East Main Street intersection. The recommendations for that intersection are overhead flashing beacons for intersection visibility, improve the sidewalks and bicycle accommodation, and access management. The Walmart intersection, the existing conditions were mostly for poor pedestrian accommodation and sidewalk connections and lack of bicycle accommodation. And the recommendations are to improve the pedestrian crossings and sidewalks, as well as for the last intersection, which is the Walmart South Drive. Next, please. And this is a recommendation that came from Rick Jordan, town planner from the town of Avon. This map shows the East Main Street at Route 28 intersection, which is unsignalized. You can see how skewed it is towards the it's not at a 90-degree angle, but south of that, in the 4-lane cross section, pedestrians would walk to the Walmart and they would be pushed out into the travel lane on the northbound approach where that big red rectangle is. And because there's a guardrail there. So Rick had suggested putting in a temporary pedestrian bridge over Trout Stream. And that would prevent people from being pushed out there. It's a hazardous, very hazardous situation now, because people do like to walk along the side of the road. And the TIP project is just north of this. So this is not part of the TIP project. It's not part of that TIP project. So this is something that we'd like to see go forward. Next, please. Old Colony Planning Council, we do evaluations of culverts. Matt and Sean and Kyle, they were out there looking at the trout at Trout Stream at the culvert, and they were assessing it for connectivity for wildlife and fish, and it has poor connectivity for fish. But also they did just a visual on the condition of the concrete, and this is not an engineering evaluation, but it's a visual evaluation, and the culvert is not in very good condition. So this represents an opportunity here above where they're measuring there is the guardrail that pushes pedestrians out into the travel lane. So there's a potential there to put the temporary bridge right there, and then actually widen it in the long term when if they ever reconstruct the culvert. And there's a good opportunity there to continue the shared use path from Harrison Boulevard, shared bicycle pedestrian use path all the way down to the Walmart right there. Next, please. And these are just some concepts for the temporary bridge. In other areas, people have used these very successfully for pedestrian safety. Next, please. And next, yep. So, and that concludes the presentation part of this meeting. And we're on to questions and comments.
Yes, if any of the attendees would like to ask a question or make a comment, please use the raise your hand function, and then I will give you permission to speak. And if you would rather not speak up, you can also put your question or comment in the chat or the Q&A function. And I see JB has his hand raised.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. For some reason, I cannot find my raise my hand feature. So my apologies. Just a couple of comments and just a question. First with the question, Mass DOT says they don't want to move forward. Can anybody provide some insight to us as far as, the rationale behind that, given, the concerns with Avon Center, especially? I think we're all aware that the design has issues. I think pedestrian safety is paramount there. So just kind of curious what we can do to kind of advance funding for even just if we honed in on Avon Center.
Right. Maybe Sharon can let us know what the DOT is thinking about, and
Yeah, I don't have that answer, but I can definitely check with the with Rich and Son, our boss, and then I can email and then circulate the answer. I think so. So the question is why we are not going forward, right?
Yes, and if there's a means or a method to get, even if we just kind of reduce the scope of the corridor study and just focused on Avon Center, that could be an option. Again, we need to do something there sooner than later. One of the concerns is the truck traffic through Avon Center. I don't know if OCPC has counted that, or if that's something we need to put a request to do. I'm curious what the percentage of heavy vehicles are going through Avon Center.
It's above 5%.
Yeah,
So it's pretty
definitely.
high. Yeah. I didn't include that for brevity. But we did count cars. We have car count, and that includes trucks also. But I do remember that it was above 5% for all the locations that we did on Route 28.
So is this the question just for one intersection or for the whole corridor?
The corridor, yeah. We had several count locations.
We already have two intersection. I mean, it's 25% submission, right? Which is the Harrison and then the East. Yeah, that one. And yeah, and I'm not sure the Avon Center. So is it a corridor or the intersection? That's my question.
I think he was talking about the truck traffic. What percentage of the traffic volume? And it's above 5%. We had several count locations. We put out portable traffic counters, automatic traffic counters.
Yeah.
And
Ray,
Yeah.
Richard Jordan had a question. If we can just,
Yes.
in addition, maybe if you can comment.
Yep, go ahead.
Just to
Go ahead,
help, just to clarify, I think you have a slide 3 or 4 with the 2 tip projects, one of which is sort of on hold. Maybe you can show that slide.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was
that's
in the
the
that was in the beginning, Sean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
see the-
so Sharon can see the second item on this slide is approved by the committee, but not actively moving ahead. So I think JB's question is about that tip item.
610804, right?
Yes.
Yes, sure. Yeah. The first one is I know that I reviewed that one. Yeah, definitely. I will check that one and then I can circulate the email.
And I think if I could request, a priority on that, just because this corridor study is underway. And obviously Mass DOT and having lots of projects, but it would be important for the progress of this corridor study.
Definitely, yes. I would definitely raise like the public concern and then safety concern and then the traffic volume, obviously. Yes. Yeah.
And there's a question in the chat.
Yes, it was about truck volume.
Yes, what is the truck volume, East Spring, West Spring, and any traffic calming speeds are excessive by all vehicles? Or speeds are excessive by all vehicles?
I don't have those.
I'm pulling up the data right now,
I was
Charlie.
just gonna say,
Ray,
Kyle-
I can check on that.
Kyle
Okay.
or Sean, if you could do that, I think it's an important comment.
So East Spring looks like the truck traffic is 13.6%.
I don't think we have anything on West Spring because, well, we might have put it.
We
on-
do have
Oh, we
data.
do, great.
10.3%.
Yeah, so it's pretty high. The Mass DOT considers anything over 5% that they would consider an alternative route for trucks. So anything under 5%, they say you don't need a alternative truck route. Anything over 5%, they say you could possibly get one if there's one available. But Route 28 is a major, it's an arterial, not a major arterial, it's an arterial, so it's a truck route in itself. So you wouldn't have an alternative to Route 28. But something like West Spring Street, you could, but again, West Spring Street is going to be, the last we talked to Mass DOT, they were talking about, dead ending West Spring Street, so. Yes, John.
Can I go back to the East Main Street, Route 28, and Harrison Boulevard project for a second? I'm a bit concerned by the two left lanes are setting up.
Yep.
The state over the last 5 years was, as you may know, was reconstructing Harrison Boulevard where it meets Pond Street by the Avon Industrial Park.
Yep.
And they've done that. They did that very thing. They created two left-hand lanes, one of which is supposed to go to the industrial park, the other one is supposed to continue into town, and it really doesn't work well because people don't, the lanes aren't marked as to where they're supposed to go. So people get up, make that turn, and now they're fighting to get into the right lane. I'm
Yeah.
concerned that we may have the same situation with more traffic on it heading up to East Spring Street. So I just want you to keep that in mind when they start doing these plans, that might create more problem.
I think the purpose of having two left turn lanes like that, having an extra storage lane, is to make sure that the left turning traffic doesn't queue back into the travel lane, because it creates a hazardous situation where you have vehicles stopped in the travel lane. They want to go into the left turn lane, but they can't because it's full. When you put vehicles in the left turn lane, then they don't queue so far as much back, and they're not going to be in the travel lane. Vehicles going at higher speeds are going to go around them. But I understand what you're saying, that what they could do is the nearer left turn lane could be for vehicles turning right. They could sign it for vehicles turning right onto East Spring Street, so they don't have that. So if someone's in the other left turn lane, they have to get they have to get over to the right there and get into East, to get to East Spring Street. So I understand what you're saying.
Well, that's why I bring it up, because they did not do that kind of signage at Harrison Boulevard and Pond Street, and therefore it creates that confusion for
Yeah,
people
yeah.
which lane we in.
Right, because
Okay.
then there's a quick left up there to go into the industrial park. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Thank you for that question.
And I think on the West Spring Street, I think we are closing that one, right? That means there will not be any left turn lane from that's the Harrison Boulevard, I believe. And there would be just the through lane, through lane, and then the right turn lane into this East Springfield, based on the 611979 project, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Richard Jordan has another question. Ray.
yep, go ahead, Rick.
Well, my understanding of the pavement condition of Route 28 overall is that it's not very good, particularly south of Harrison Boulevard heading toward Walmart, and perhaps also between Gill Street and High Street. And obviously, of course, in those two areas, there's need for the existing condition of the sidewalks is varied. Some of it is, most of it's fairly old. There's been some patching of some cement, improved sidewalks here and there. I wonder if your corridor study would benefit from a existing conditions type slide talking about the poor condition of the road pavement itself and the sidewalks. I'm not sure I saw that emphasized in this briefing.
And you
It is.
guys typically do that, don't you?
Yes, it's in the report. We have a map of the conditions of the pavement, and it's mostly, as you say, it's in either deficient or poor condition. There's a lot of sections that are in poor condition through the corridor, and deficient, but we have that included in the study.
We also have there's a comment in the chat. Stop signs are necessary at East Spring. 28 need lighted ones at a minimum. Better painted pedestrian crosswalks.
Yeah, the TIP project is going to signalize that intersection. So we're going one better. Instead of stop signs is going to be a traffic signal that's going to be coordinated with the Harrison Boulevard intersection. And all the pavement markings are going to be new crosswalks.
Comment, everybody. Again, this slide's already a little bit outdated, as I think you all know. The 25%, we have not seen those from Fuss and O'Neill or the district, but we are blocking off West Spring Street. We have a permit in right now with the district to do that, for the town to do that. So we're hopeful that'll happen in the next couple of weeks. But again, you will see a new design reflect that change, but we haven't seen that. The other point, and Ray, I think I brought this up last time we all spoke, and Mary, I think you're aware of this, but Barletta has a permit for a solid waste facility in Holbrook, 1,000 ton a day. And, you know, I'm not gonna speak for the Avon residents, but I'll bring up the concerns of the board as far as the reconstruct of these two intersections, the heavy truck traffic, and if that facility does open, you know, all of that truck traffic's probably going to continue down that 28 corridor north into Avon Center or one of those side streets where they'll take a right, or they'll take a right on East Spring. We don't know how that's going to kind of play out, but I just think everybody on the call tonight should be aware of that.
You know, JB, that's a good point, right? I mean, we look at the present and somewhat of the past, but knowing that this is around the corner, the potential, you know, is there. And I think as, you know, there is this opportunity to at least asterisk or somehow make it, you know, as JB was noting, the potential's there, just so we keep an eye on it, and it would affect this quarter study.
And I'm not even the planner, Mary.
Yeah, well, the analysis, yeah, there were a number of studies done by a consultant for the that Holbrook facility, and we took into account their estimates for trip generation and as well as their trip assignment on the road, and all that analysis will be in the final report. We put that in our build conditions for levels of service, and
Okay.
I believe that this is based on the consultant. I think about 20% of the peak hour traffic is going to go, not all the traffic is going to go through Avon, maybe about, based on their estimates for trip assignment, I think it's about 20% of the peak hour traffic. And I did add those
Reports.
those numbers. I added those numbers in the analysis when we did our we do existing level of service, then we do no build level of service, then we do build level of service. So that's in the no build and the build level of service, the number of trucks and cars going to and from that facility. And it doesn't really impact the levels of service. The farther you get away from that facility, the less traffic is going through there. But again, this is based on the consultant's estimates for the number of vehicles going to and from the facility and their trip assignment, which was and the consultant's traffic studies was accepted by the project, so that and the project was given the go ahead on the traffic part. So I don't think there's enough to change the levels of service, although it will bump up.
I'm not, Ray, I don't want to go, I just,
Yeah,
I'm not saying change the level of service of here. I'm saying this should impact MassDOT's decision to fund the center improvements because of that.
Yeah,
I'm good with this.
Yeah, it definitely will bump up the truck traffic, and we already have heavy truck traffic. Absolutely.
That's correct. That's my concern is Avon Center. We're good with these intersections. I've spoken to, you know, the DOT team on this and Fuss and O'Neill. We're content.
Yep.
Do we know the address of this new Holbrook facility, or the rough address?
Yes.
Yeah, I can get it to you, Rick.
I don't see any more
Shannon
questions.
Shannon Sabri. She has her hand raised.
Sure.
All right, you have speaking permission. Shannon, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question or make a comment.
Yep, thank you. Shannon Sabri, I'm town's member. I have a question. Can somebody please explain the rationale between when you're coming from the south side of 28, like from the Walmart area, it's 2 left lanes and then a single straight through lane, and then it goes from a single straight through to a 2 lane, then back to a 1 lane. Why wouldn't you just keep it 1 lane the whole way and add the bump out for turning? That just seems kind of like what John was saying, how the 2 lane confusion happens already at Harrison and Pond. Also, there's an intersection where Home Depot is on Stockwell Drive. It goes from 2 lanes supposedly to a marked turn lane, then back to 2 lanes. And the problem is people just go straight through and disregard the turn lane painting on the ground. So I can see a situation, especially here, where there's so much more traffic than at Home Depot. When you go from a single lane to a 2 lane to a single lane, people are going to disregard that right turn lane signal and just try to go straight. And then I could see there being a significant amount of accidents.
Could you explain again which part of the Route 28 that you're talking about? It's a 4 lane cross section from the Walmart, right?
So when you're going from the south to the north,
Right,
like if you're
right.
coming from Walmart,
Yep.
to the right side of Harrison Boulevard, there's the 2 left lanes and a single straight through lane.
There's a existing, I believe there's one left turn lane going.
No, I'm talking about in this drawing that's on the
Oh,
screen right now.
in this drawing. Oh, this is the new design. Okay, well, they have 2 left turn lanes. So actually the receiving lane is 2 lanes.
No, I'm talking about the straight lane, a single straight
Yep.
lane.
Right,
Then you
on the
cross
northbound,
through,
right.
you
On the
cross
northbound-
through the intersection to a
Yeah.
2 lane,
Right, correct.
and then you go back to a 1 lane. Why would you
Correct.
go single to single? People are not going to pay attention to that right turn lane and are just going to go straight through that intersection.
Well, I think what you have on the northbound on Route 28 is a single through lane, and you have 2 receiving lanes. Okay, so as you go through Harrison Boulevard on Route 28, you got one through lane, and they can go in either the right lane or the left lane. If they go in the right lane, they're going to go to East Spring Street. Now, coming from Harrison Boulevard, you have 2 left turns, and we were talking about this earlier.
Do you want me to try to answer that?
Yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
Shannon, so are you talking about the East Spring Street and then Route 28 intersection, right?
Yeah, so when you're coming
Yes.
from
I understand your question. So there would be 2 through lane and then 1 right turn lane, and there would not be any left turn lane when we get the updated plan. Because
right, I'm not talking about the left. I'm talking about going straight down 28. You go from a single lane to a double lane to a single lane again.
Yes.
So why would you not just keep it single the entire way and just allow for a bump out for a right turn lane to go to East Spring Street? People are going to go straight through that intersection because they're not going to pay attention to the fact that that is a turn lane.
Well, people will pay attention to the pavement markings, because if you're in that right lane, you've got that hatched line, and it'll probably also be signed, right turn for right lane, so they'll go into the left lane if they're going through. So and the reason why there's 2 lanes there is because coming from Harrison Boulevard, you get 2 left turns, and there should be 2 receiving lanes for those 2 left turns from Harrison Boulevard. That's a very heavy movement right there.
Yeah, I just
So-
foresee a lot of accidents happening in that transition.
Yeah, and what's happening now is that I know exactly what you're saying. There's going to be a lot of weaving in that section. Absolutely, there's a lot of weaving going on right now, and the crashes are going on right now because of that weaving. And this is an attempt to alleviate that by having that right turn lane there and getting people to weave earlier, so they don't wait till the last minute, and to try to channel traffic. So right now, there's a lot of weaving crashes in there now.
Yeah.
And to have those two left turns, you really do need two receiving lanes. And as we were talking earlier, with John Costa, that inside left turn lane, they could actually sign that to, as people take a left turn, they have the inside on, they should stack up there on Harrison Boulevard if they're gonna go to East Spring Street. That should be the East Spring Street lane, that left turn lane, that near left turn lane. So that when they do take that left turn, they're already in the right, and they can go into that right turn, that right turn on the northbound approach to go into East Spring Street. So
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but this is an attempt actually to alleviate that weaving motion.
Sure. It just feels like it's a problem being solved with a new problem. So it's
And-
just a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Just in response to the design conversation here, we're
Yep.
waiting to just get a date from DOT for the 25% design public hearing. I'm really hoping that's in person, Shannon and everybody else, so people can see the design and interact with the reps from DOT, and Fuss and O'Neill. Ray, Kyle, Sean, Mary, any of you guys aware of when that may be? It's been kind of quiet. I thought it was gonna be early October.
I haven't heard anything from DOT. Bill McNulty would probably know,
Yeah.
but he's not.
Bill or Charlie, but what we can do is
Yeah.
bring your question back, JB, tomorrow
Yes.
to both of them. and
Right.
We'll get an answer back.
Yeah, because I think that's the time for Shannon, for John Costa, for them to get into some of the design.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's probably the better time to
Mhm.
have those discussions and that dialogue.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate everybody's effort tonight.
Thank you, John. Yeah. Do we have any other questions or comments? I appreciate the support that the town has been giving us throughout this whole study. So
I see no more comments in the chat, nothing posted in the Q&A. So I guess we could do one last call for any of the panelists or any of the attendees. If anybody has any questions or comments.
Not a question or comments. I think from my perspective, Sean, is that, we just should leave with next steps. So we have a couple questions that we need to get back to the town. JB's question on the project and the status, Charlie or Bill, and then what else? There was something else we were going to do. Whatever it is, we'll get back to it. I wrote it down on my notes, so.
yeah.
Barry, I'll remind you tomorrow.
I'm sure you will. Thanks, JB.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I think it was the question for Sharon about. the
Yes,
other
correct.
people.
That's right. And the only other piece I would add is we will take a look at that slide that lists the TIP project and modify it accordingly. And then the other piece was just, we have it in the report in terms of what's going on in Holbrook. It's in there and noted, and part of I just wanted that to be closure to that, so.
Yep.
Okay.
And thank you, Sharon, for being here and answering our questions. We appreciate DOT also being here.
And also to all the residents and others who are
Yeah.
in attendance. So
Yes.
your opinion and comments and questions make this a stronger report. So thank you. And thank you as a piece of team.
I see that Lynn McKenney has her hand raised.
Sure.
You have speaking permission now, Lynn. Feel free to
Hi,
unmute yourself.
yes. I know I had mentioned this earlier. I just had to, I wasn't in the meeting for about the last half an hour. I had something to do. But I wanted to ask about the extra traffic that will go down Gill Street off of West Main Street when West Spring, thank you. West Spring is a dead end. I'm just worried about how much extra traffic there will be going down Gill Street.
That's a good question. There could be some traffic that could transition over there because they used to cutting through West Spring Street. That is a potential. We could keep an eye on it. We could monitor it the town could ask Old Colony to put down some traffic counts there. And we can actually put down some traffic counters now to see what the traffic's like without the construction. Then when the construction happens and they dead end West Spring Street, we can see what the traffic's like then.
Okay.
But again, people cutting through Gill Street, the biggest problem there is that Route 28, especially during the peak hour when people want to cut through, they go from one problem to another problem. If they're going to try to take a left turn out of there, out of Gill, they're going to have a very hard time because there's so much traffic on Route 28. They're better off going down to Harrison Boulevard where the signal is, because that's
Right.
you know.
Yep.
But if they're going to East Spring Street, they only have to take a right turn out of there. So it's actually less of a wait, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have to go to take a left turn at East Spring Street, so it might be a longer wait there. And as I said before the meeting, because I talked to you before the meeting, people are using GPS more than ever. So there is a potential for that. We can't really predict how many people will transition over there, but it's likely, you know, the way it looks, the way the layout is, it looks like there might be some, but we can monitor it for you.
Okay.
And then we can put signs, you know, no cut throughs, or you can even put
Maybe a raised
yeah,
crosswalk or something.
yeah, exactly. You could put yeah, some traffic calming on the street, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, as it is right now, most people, they cut through and they speed down the street, and, you know, I have grandchildren that are out there playing mostly in the backyard, but still it's, you know, I'm not happy about it.
So you already have cut throughs going.
Oh,
through.
yeah.
Yeah. So maybe now's the time to put traffic counters out there. We could do the speeds for you. We could do traffic volumes, we can do speeds, and we can look at how much trucks go through there. And you know, if the town wants to, they can do some traffic calming and maybe some signage and even enforcement, you know.
Yeah, what's I gonna say?
Ray, it may be beneficial to wait or have a conversation with the district on that.
Yep.
Because again, I'm waiting for our permit to do the block, to shut down West
Sure.
Spring. You know, we have all accounts now. You know, maybe we implement that in the next couple of weeks, and then we go back and recount and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a
Yeah,
more accurate.
Yep, whatever the town, you know, wants, requests from us, we'll be happy to do at the time.
Fantastic. Thank you all.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it. Again, thank you everybody for coming and giving us your time. Thank you everybody from the town. And
Thanks, Ray, and thanks OCPC staff. Have a good night.
all right, good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.